It's 6 minutes past 8 here on 101.5. It's SportsFeva time now for your Thursday morning sporting fix. Peter Swampy Marsh is here in the studio. Good morning to you, Swamp.
Good morning, Matty. Apologise if my voice is a little touch dusty this morning. Out celebrating last night with the Redcliffe Dolphins after a wonderful night at the QRL Awards. So,
we'll talk on that first up, Swamp. What an amazing night for the Dolphins. We make no apologies for being big fans of the mighty Finns, and they've already had a huge year. Minor premiers. Take us through the awards that they won last night.
9 awards they won last night. So kicking it off with the club championship, which is a massive award there. In the Colts, Ben Cook and Glenn Ellis picked up leading point scorer and leading try scorer. In the Fogs, Wes Middleton and Dave Famita picked up leading point scorer and leading try scorer in that division. Of course, friend of the show and SportsFeva favourite Liam Lummy Georgetown picked up leading point and try scorer in the Queensland Cup. Young Zach Strasser, you may have seen him in the Queensland Cup the last couple of weeks, but a Colts player through, a really promising young playmaker, picked up Colt of the Year. And, of course, the big gong, Luke Capewell, picked up the Courier Mail medal for best and fairest player. And I think I've got them all, Matty.
I think you nailed them all, Swamp. Well done. That was well done. That was a question without notice, too. You nailed it. And, of course, they were broadcast live on the internet. I was watching at home and you were there. Lukey Capewell led most of the night, but we got to about 4 rounds out, and everyone knew Capewell played the last 4 rounds for the Broncos, wasn't there for the Dolphins. I think pretty much everyone thought, he's going to be unlucky here. He didn't play in any of the 4 games. He's going to get run down, but he held on.
Yeah, it was a wonderful effort, and I suppose that's just testament to just how good he was earlier in the season. When he, before, and I suppose it's that catch-22. You play well to pick up those votes, and he got noticed and called up to the Broncos. Of course, he's a Broncos listed player, and the Broncos were short there, but deserved call up. He was in wonderful form, and I think a deserved winner last night. You wouldn't find too many that would argue he's been great for the Dolphins this year.
Just a bit of in defence of Capewell. I know there's a few Broncos fans and league fans in there in general who don't rate Capewell when he's gone up to the Broncos. In his defence, I think most people say he's only probably played 5-10 minutes max in those games. The thing about I've found about Capewell, and he's been at, I think, 4 NRL clubs now, South Sydney Titans. He was in the Melbourne Storm system there for a while as well. I really think he's a real natural halfback. He's a halfback. We've seen what he can do at halfback for the Dolphins this year. I challenge anyone to say a player like Daly Cherry Evans if they had the same as what Capewell has. Capewell's biggest, I guess, liability has been his versatility, because he is so versatile, can play any position in the back line. South played him at wing, fullback, centre, wherever they needed to fill him in. If you'd played Cherry Evans at any of those positions, he would have been as effective as he has been. Cherry Evans, Manly said, well, he's our halfback, we're going to give him an extended run there, and Capewell hasn't had that opportunity at NRL level to play an extended period of halfback. I think if he got that opportunity, he's one hell of a halfback.
If I nodded any more, my head would fall off my neck. I couldn't agree more with you, Matty. He mentioned that last night, and they had a bit of a chat to him. He said he was just relishing his time at number 7. It's where he wants to play, and he just hasn't had that extended run to get into a groove. And it's not a position that you can just pick up in 1 week and go from there. But that's a fantastic comparison too. Cherry Evans got the run that he needed at number 7 to work in there, and look at the player that he's turned out to be. When you watch Capewell at number 7, he's head and shoulders above the rest of the competition. You look at him and go, how is this guy not playing NRL? And he's only had sort of minutes off the bench, and I couldn't agree more that versatility has probably been his downfall, and not being as impressive as he would be in the NRL. But I'll tell you what, if he gets 80 minutes, give the kid 80 minutes at a number 7 somewhere, and he'll pick up plenty more fans for sure.
80 minutes in a month of football, playing halfback at a team, you'll see a totally different player that you've seen in the NRL before, no doubt. Now, we've got an action-packed show because it's a huge weekend in local rugby league, or local football in both rugby league and rugby union.
Yeah, absolutely massive, and I encourage everyone to get up to Stockland Park at Kawana on Saturday, because it's just going to be a huge afternoon and evening of football. Caboolture Rugby Union will take on Noosa in the Sunshine Coast Rugby A-grade Grand Final. Wonderful stuff for the Snakes Union boys. It's 30th anniversary year. first time in the Sunshine Coast Grand Final. It's just going to be absolutely fantastic. They're in great form, smashed Caloundra to get into the final, and are really, really pumped up. They've had a week off to get over some injuries, and they're ready to fire. That's 3:15pm that kicks off, and we've got Steve Payne from the club coming on later in the show to talk us through all the happenings from Kevin Kayser Oval.
They've got to win that. The script says it, doesn't it? 30 years, everything leads. They must win it. We can't have it any other way.
On the flip side of that, though, Matty, there's sort of almost a little bit of pressure. They should win it. They're expected to win. So hopefully that doesn't get to them too much. But yeah, the script is almost finished. It's just waiting for the finale.
And the other big event up at Kawana on Saturday night is, of course, the Snakies do battle with the Devils, and we've seen that same game only a fortnight ago. But we won't go too much into it because we've got Chuck Tomlinson coming on next to talk about the game. But they went down to Kawana, and look, Kawana haven't lost a game all year, so we'll get Chuck's thoughts on that game. But they've got chance of redemption. They'll take on the Devils, who I believe were very undermanned last week when they won their game against Maroochydore. They'll be at full strength this weekend. They will have Matt Peterson, who they didn't against in that game a fortnight ago. So it'll be interesting, and hopefully, all fingers crossed that the Snakies can get through to another grand final.
Of course, and that's at 6:30 kick-off on Saturday night, and just across no more than 200 or 300 metres from where the Caboolture Rugby Union will be playing at Kawana there. So
you park your car. You don't even have to move your car. You park it, you walk to one, and you come back to the other.
Exactly. So it's going to be a huge afternoon of Caboolture football up there. And in the middle of the show today, Matty, we've got a SportsFeva favourite and wonderful guest. The Wamuran hockey wonder, Jodie Schultz, has been good enough to give us her time this morning. She's, of course, come back from the Olympics in London, and we're going to have a chat to her and tell us all about that London Olympic experience. So it should be fantastic to catch up with Jodie.
Can't wait for that. And just on that, you can park the car and you can take a sign that says "Go Snakes."
There you go, and you're in. Yep,
you're all sorted. That's it. You don't have to change signs or anything. It's that easy. So make sure you get up to Kawana on the weekend. We'll play a quick song. We'll be back to talk to Chuck Tomlinson. It's 17 minutes past 8 here on 101.5. You're listening to SportsFeva with Matthew and Swampy Marsh. Time now to talk to Caboolture Snakes Rugby League coach Glenn Chuck Tomlinson. He joins us on the line right now. Good morning, Chuck.
Morning, boys. How are we?
Mate, very well, and we're looking forward to a big Saturday night for the Snakies when you do battle with the Gympie Devils. I guess it's not exactly where you wanted to be after a disappointing defeat at the hands of the Kawana Dolphins last Saturday night.
Yeah, for sure. It's not ideal, but the joys of being pretty consistent through the year gives you a second bite at it. So we've got to make sure that we take one big bite and get ourselves into the final.
Chuck, it was the first game throughout the year of three that there was a result between the Snakes and Kawana. The Kawana boys looked pretty fired up there. How did you see that match through your own eyes?
Early in the contest, and probably the first 10 minutes, it was nip and tuck. It was either way, one team was waiting to see what the other one's going to do, and I felt that our boys backed off instead of upping the tempo. They pulled their heads in a little bit, which is a bit disappointing. It's probably the first time this year I've seen that, and it's not something that you want going into the finals. You want them to step up and rip in. So something we spoke about this week.
That was a monster clash with Gympie at the Snake Pit the week before that Kawana clash. Did it have the boys a little bit flat going into that at all?
I wouldn't say flat, no, because we had a light week of training and stuff. It wasn't flat, and the build-up was steady. It was more of a case of being aware of what was happening in front of us and a little bit of ill discipline. The boys themselves are pretty disappointed in what they threw up on the weekend.
Despite the loss, I guess there's some heart taken out of the fact that you didn't play anywhere near your best, and you were right in that game till late in the second half. A few dubious decisions as well. I suppose there's some heart taken out. If you can get past Gympie, you're probably pretty confident you can get Kawana in a grand final.
Well, yeah, this week's a big one. We win this one. There's two teams vying out to be the best team, so it goes either way. I've got no doubt Gympie aren't going to come to Kawana and just let us do what we want to do. Kawana proved that on the weekend, that, mate, we're there to be knocked over and teams want to do it. So we got to aim up this week, and then if we get through this week, we'll address Kawana, and I know more than likely, and know the boys pretty well, but there'll be a flame flickering in their guts about how they performed against Kawana last weekend, so they'd like to redeem it, that's for sure.
Absolutely, always good to have a little bit of hurt in the stomach there to drive them along. What's been the word at training this week, Chook? The boys turned in, by all accounts, one of the performances of the year to beat Gympie a fortnight ago. What's been the word at training ahead of this weekend's clash?
We haven't spoke too much about Gympie. To be honest with you, it was a case of let's just get to training and see what we all thought of that effort we threw up against Kawana, and make no mistake that we come this week with that same performance. We got to, so after Tuesday night, we'll look at it, go over it, and we'll tell a few home truths, and flush it down the toilet after training on Tuesday night. We've said what we've got to say. We know what needs to be done, and we can't do a repeat performance. So it's more about us and our attitude so far. Tonight we'll head up and do a little bit of ball work and speak about Gympie a little bit more tonight.
And any predicted changes to the lineup that we've seen take on Kawana?
Yeah, there'll be a few, mate. Yeah, I can't. I'm not one that's going to nurse people. We got a final to win, and mate, if you don't want to aim up in a preliminary, the confidence for me as a coach, mate, I can't keep carrying you. There's a couple with question marks over them, and I'm giving them till last minute to see how they turn up at training tonight. So yeah, I'll train tonight with a squad of 20 and witter it down.
Chook, it's going to be an absolutely wonderful clash up at Kawana on Saturday night, and we'll all be there cheering the Snakes on from the sideline, and hopefully we can be talking about a repeat grand final appearance next weekend. Thanks so much for your time this morning, and best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Cheers, Chook.
Hopefully next week.
Thanks, Chook.
Fingers crossed. Thanks, Chook. Glenn Tomlinson, coach of the Caboolture Snakes, a rugby league team. Prelim final versus the Gympie Devils. So we were both there Saturday night when they took on Kawana. I spoke to you on off air about how pumped up as I was walking into the ground, Kawana, in the dressing sheds before the game. In all my time sporting rugby league, I've never heard a team so pumped up and so ready to play a game as the Kawana team was. They're only a young team. We had Rob Ruff, their coach, on last week speaking about how young they are. They come on, and I think they caught Caboolture by surprise a little bit early.
Yeah, I think they did, but we spoke about this the last couple of weeks, of course, when we spoke to both the Noosa coach and the Gympie coach, that a lot of teams walk off the field feeling like they could have beaten Kawana, and I thought that game was up for grabs there for Caboolture. Like you said before, Caboolture didn't play anywhere near their best, and it was a 5 or 6 minute burst. They scored 2 quick tries, and we thought, hang on, this is the Snakes that we're used to seeing here, and they really looked like they were going to kick on. 2 handling errors just killed all their momentum, and Kawana took their chances. They got penalties, repeat sets, just had an absolute weighted possession in the first half. But that game was up for grabs, and it's really odd how that team can go through undefeated. But
I think that's what makes them so good, Swamp. I think teams can't work out how they can't beat them. Like that, I think that's really part of their secret. And hats off to Rob Ruff. He's done a great job with such a side that, a young side that he's moulded together this year. Teams walk away and saying, well, we don't really know how we lost that game. We should have won it, and they find it hard to find answers next time. So. It's a bit of probably a method to the madness there. Of
course, but full credit to Kawana. I don't think there was certainly more penalties that they scored from than they didn't. Every time they got a chance, they were over the line, which is a hallmark of a good team. You get your chances and you seize them. And Caboolture, unfortunately, weren't good enough to pick their chances on the night. And, we'll have to face Gympie next week. But what a big clash it's going to be. There's so much to it in the backstory as well.
There's a huge game, and of course Caboolture, and as you mentioned, probably played their game of the season against Gympie last time, got away with the victory. Obviously, Gympie were missing Matty Peterson, sideshow Bob, NRL experience at fullback. I've heard he's a definite to play on this weekend, so he's going to make a difference because that's where they were really missing in that back line last time. They were very strong in the forwards. As we know, they've got 3 former NRL forwards in their pack, but they were missing probably that X factor in the back line to finish off some of those back line movements. Their 5'8", Nicky Swan, went off injured in that first half as well, so they lacked some creativity in the second half. He'll be right to go. And take away the snake pit factor. This game's being played at a neutral venue at Kawana. That snake pit is worth, I'd say, at least a converted try. So it's up for grabs on the weekend, the prelim final.
That said, though, Matty, the loyal snake pit that travelled up there on Saturday night did a wonderful job in enemy territory against a hostile crowd. They were in full voice, and when the Snakes were on fire, the snake pit fired up, and it was, Chook told me earlier in the week that the boys love that noise when they're on song, and there's going to be, you're not going to be a lone Snake supporter if you do choose to head up there. There'll be plenty of Caboolture supporters to sit and cheer with. They did a really wonderful job, and the boys appreciate it. And look, with a neutral venue now, at least they were up against a hostile crowd last week. I think the Snake Pit might just drown out the Devils on Saturday night.
I reckon they'll get it. There'll be a few Devils fans that'll probably didn't make the trip from Gympie to Caboolture that are keen to get to Kawana, but you're right, Caboolture got one of the best travelling crowds in the business. It's going to be a great game.
I'm really looking forward to it.
I honestly think, you've heard it here first, this game will go to the field goal, so I hope Chook does a little bit of field goal practice with Scotty Maddock and a few of those guys on at the weekend, because I think it'll come down to a one-pointer.
Mitchie Simpson field goal to seal it?
You reckon?
Yep.
Out the back to the fullback.
Out the back. Seals it.
I reckon Maddox, you mean. But anyway, we'll wait and see. Hopefully, though, I'm no good with the nerves. I hope it doesn't come down to one. I'll be nervous.
You are awful on the sideline as a nervous supporter.
I'm a prowler. It's no good at all. No good at all. But anyway, we can't wait for that one. And like Chook said, let's hope we're talking to him next Thursday and lead up for a back-to-back grand final.
And very quickly, once more for those who are looking to get up there, 6:30 p.m. Saturday night at Stockland Park. It's technically Bock Arena, but it's Kawana, so get on up there and cheer the Snakes.
Yeah, but get there early. Go and watch the rugby union first.
We'll come to the rugby union later, but of course.
We'll play a word from our sponsors and be back to talk about the rugby. It's 27 minutes to 9 here on 101.5. It is radio for when you're in, because we've got the Wamuran Wonder on the line now. Hockey star, London Olympic star, Jodie Schiltz, welcome back to SportsFeva.
Thank you very much. Good to speak to you.
Thanks so much for coming on this morning, Jodie. Now, of course, you have been back a couple of weeks now and enjoying a well-deserved break after a very busy couple of months for you. I suppose now that you had a little bit of time to reflect on it, how are you going to remember your first Olympics experience?
Oh, there's so many things to remember, and it was just such an amazing experience, and I'm just so grateful that I had the opportunity to go. And yeah, it was good to take a couple of weeks off and really step back and really let everything soak in at what actually happened, and it was just amazing.
Did it live up to the expectations? Of course, it doesn't get bigger than the Olympics for so many sports people. Did it live up to your own, what I imagine, were pretty high expectations?
Oh, and much more. It was just, I didn't know what to expect, really. You just got advice from the senior players that had been before, and it was just, the best experience, and yeah, you don't know what to expect, and it just, overwhelmed me. It was awesome.
Now, at SportsFeva here, we think that Hockeyroos got the short end of the stick, if you'll excuse the pun. It was a very tough way to miss out on a medal round in one goal difference, and one that only came from a penalty corner in the first 2 minutes of the tournament. Did all the players feel like they'd had a pretty good tournament, regardless of where they'd finished up?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, fifth wasn't what we set out to achieve, but there's some real positives that come out of that. We played some amazing hockey, and yeah, it was just it was really tough that we did play really good hockey and we missed out on that goal difference. Yeah, one goal, 2 minutes in the first game, so a little bit of nerves there, and we let one go. And yeah, it was also disappointing to draw against the world number 2 team in the world and still not make it through. So when you look at the big picture, we're ranked 7th and we come 5th, so I guess that's something you can take out of it, and defensively we only let 2 goals in, so that's that's also something that we can be really proud of. And there's just so many positives that we can take out of the games and look to go forward.
And of course, that statistic of only letting 2 goals in is a wonderful reflection on your own form, because the key part about that is I think both of those goals came from penalty corners. There were no field goals scored against the Hockeyroos in the tournament. Were you pretty happy with your own form down in the back line there for the Olympics?
Yeah, I'm really happy with how I went personally, and yeah, the back line, the group of defenders just did an amazing job, and same as Tony Cronk in the net, she was just outstanding, and yeah, to let 2 goals in is like something we can be proud of, and it was the lowest goals let in the men and the women. So when you look at it that way, that's really good.
And we saw young Anna Flanagan pick up a few of the drag flicking duties early in the tournament. But, of course, very happy to see your name on the score sheet in that last game against China. Was it good to finally put one in the back of the net?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I would have liked to have scored a few more drag flicks, but there were some really good saves by the keeper, so I can't take that away from them. And yeah, it was great to see Anna Flanagan put in some goals. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who puts in the goals as long as they're in that green and gold uniform. So yeah, it was definitely really good to get my name on that score sheet. It took all the games to get there, but I got one in the last game, which was awesome.
And what about, obviously, you're a TV star now too. You appeared in some commercials with that damn Commonwealth Bank tea. He was a pest, wasn't he? The Pestosaurus, but he kind of was on the money with everything as well. So what was that like? I know I've seen on Facebook a lot of your friends and your sister's friends in particular were very proud to see you on that Commonwealth Bank ad. Any feedback on your acting skills there, Jodie?
No, that was just awesome to have the opportunity to, they flew me to Sydney to do that ad, and it was just really good. And to have like the CommBank support the whole Australian Olympics team is just really good, and giving us that belief that we can do something. Like the ad was just perfect for everyone's Olympic campaign, and yeah, I was just stoked that I was the one that could do the ad, so I was really happy.
Now, we know he's a SportsFeva listener, and he featured on TV a couple of times as well. Of course, the parents travelled over to cheer you on there, and Jeff and Di are rocking some wonderful green and gold wigs. What was it like to have them there to cheer you on at the Olympics?
Oh, I couldn't ask for a better family. Look, they've just been so great and so supportive, and for them to fly over for me for my first Olympics was just amazing. It just made that experience so much more better, and I'm just really happy for all their support. And yeah, they got on TV a fair bit with their bright wigs, and they were loving it and having a good time, which is good to see.
They were very easy to spot in the crowd. Now, of course, as you said, you're enjoying a couple of weeks off at the moment. What's next on the agenda for yourself and the Hockeyroos?
So we've got a few things coming up. We've got our Champions Challenge, which is in Dublin. So that's in a couple of weeks. I think it's about 4 or 5 weeks. So there's not much rest. So we're back to Perth on Sunday and back into training. So yeah, it's going to be looking forward to that and picking up a stick again after 3 weeks off. So yeah, and then between that and we've got the Australian Hockey League coming up, and also another Lenko Super Series. So yeah, there's a few things before we have a break over Christmas. So, yeah, really looking forward to it.
We'll be keeping a close eye on the Hockeyroos here at SportsFeva. Jodie, we really appreciate your time coming on the show this morning. We're big fans here, as the whole community of Moreton Bay are. And congratulations on the Olympics. And well done, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jodie.
Jodie Schultz there, the Whamuran wonder. We're very proud of her, Swamp.
Absolutely, and she had a wonderful tournament, not to be understated, that only 2 goals were scored from penalty corners in the Hockeyroos campaign. Really tough. It's cutthroat in the Hockey Olympics, Matty. There's 4 teams that go through, and the rest unfortunately have to fight for the scraps and placings. And in that Hockeyroos pool, they had some very, very strong teams that they came up against, and they lost out on goal difference like they did in Beijing. Only the 1 goal, but then of course there's no one worse that you'd like to concede a goal against that would cost you than New Zealand. They lost out there, but they beat Germany, who were ranked well above them. They drew with Argentina and had a really, really big chance to beat them, but unfortunately, it was the last game in the pool, of course, for the Hockeyroos, and Argentina knew all they had to do was get a draw to progress, and they played accordingly, so it made it very, very tough for the Hockeyroos to if they just had to score 1 goal, and they were going to be through. So a team on the improve.
And with the hockey too, like if you've seen the a few of the other team sports had your quarterfinals, whereas hockey, you're straight into the semis, which was a bit unlucky as well.
No second chances at all.
Whereas I think hockey had more teams and just semis compared to a few of those others, particularly the water polo and also the basketball. So anyway, not to be, but we're still very proud of the Hockey Roos and Jody in particular here at Sports Fever. It's 20 to 9 here on 101.5. Time for a quick song. 14 minutes to 9 here on 101.5. You listen to Sports Fever with Matthew and Swampy. And as promised, it's time now to talk some Caboolture Rugby Union. It's a huge weekend ahead. And joining us on the line is Steve Payne from Caboolture Rugby Union. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, guys. How are you?
Yeah, we're very good here, Steve, and very excited about Saturday. Going to be a huge game. Caboolture v Noosa in the Sunshine Coast Rugby Union A-grade grand final. How's things been around the club this week to start with, Steve? It's a very special year for the club, and it's almost, I hate to use the term early, but it's heading towards that fairy tale finish, isn't it?
Well, it is. We couldn't have timed it any better going into a final in the 30th year, and the feeling around the club is very, very positive. So it's a nice time to be around. It's good.
Now, before we do get to the A-grade, we must give a very quick shout-out to the reserve boys there. They heartbreakingly went down by a single point in their elimination final in the first round of the finals, but a wonderful season by them to get as far as they did, Steve.
Look, it was a great season for reserve grade. They were a really good bunch of lads, and I think it made a difference too, having both teams very balanced, and a lot of people vying for positions, which creates a really good attitude at a rugby club. So they were good team.
Now, of course, we mentioned it last week. The A-grade boys won straight through to the grand final, defeating Caloundra. I believe it was 26-12, with all points scored by Captain Courageous Tommy Aldridge. Turned in a wonderful performance. So they've had the week off this week as Caloundra and Noosa fought it out for a grand final spot. How have they been at training, Steve? Are still hungry, pretty hungry after that week off?
Still very hungry, and I think the week off quite suited us. It was nice to. We actually hosted the final last week, so it was nice for us to have the week off and actually watch what was going on and get the chance to study the other teams a little bit. And the boys are in a good place. They're relaxed and also focused. So that looks good. It looks very, very promising.
There's a lot of boys in this team that have played a lot of rugby union together, both at the club and through school, and ones that have been with the club through some hard times, sort of with some 5th, 6th, 7th placings throughout the years. How much does this mean to, I suppose, those longer-term guys that have stayed with the club, stayed through the hard times, and getting their chance to shine on Saturday?
Well, I think that's one of the fantastic things. There are a couple of new people in the squad, but mainly it's been boys who've been with the club for a long time. Some of them coming up right up through the junior ranks. So that's the really pleasing thing. It's a reward, as you say, for a lot of years of trying very hard, and now they're reaping the rewards. And the boys who deserve it are there to do the job. So that's brilliant.
I was out at Kevin Kayser Oval last time Caboolture met Noosa. It was a big day for the boys, a big home crowd watching on, and unfortunately it ended in heartbreak with a try in the last minute to hand them a 1-point loss after they had a massive fight back in the second half. Talking to the boys during the week, it sounded like they were pretty stung by that loss. I think it was 4 or 5 rounds ago.
Yeah, no, it was, and it's probably a good thing at the end of the day. I'm quite pleased we do have Noosa because it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for the whole 80 minutes of the game, and so the boys are treating it accordingly. And I know that at the end of the day, we really are going into this final as an underdog, and we have to prove to everyone and prove to Noosa that we have the goods to actually take this competition out. So I think it's probably a good thing.
I think the underdog title sits pretty well with Caboolture. It's been a massive turnaround this year to really be up there with the Sunshine Coast Rugby Union high flyers, and Noosa's been one of those teams that's been there every year. So they really are sort of the giants of the competition, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And they've got 3 teams in the finals this year, and they have to be commended for their consistency, and it is going to be a tough day and an exciting day because really it will be an arm wrestle. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a great day for rugby union.
It sure will be, Steve. We can't wait. We're right behind you here at SportsFeva. It's Saturday. It's a GF. Like we said, the script's written. It can't happen any other way. Well, we hope so anyway. And we hope to probably talk to you next weekend, talking about what it's like to win a grand final. Steve, thanks for your time this morning, and pass on our well wishes to everyone there at the club.
Much appreciated, and let's go make some history, shall we?
Sounds good to me, Steve.
All right, mate.
Cheers, mate.
See ya.
Steve Payne from Caboolture Rugby. Like we said, it's their destiny.
Yeah, I've turned into you a little here, Matty. I'm nervous for the club because it's been such a wonderful year of celebration, and I think no matter where they finish this year, it was going to be a massive one for the club. They, of course, 30th anniversary year in the Caboolture region, and not many clubs get that far. They've got a wonderful history. Started from a group of squash mates getting together and said, hang on a second, why don't we form a rugby union club here? And that's how it all kicked off 30 years ago. But it's just, it couldn't have been written any better for them, and I just hope they can get the job done on Saturday, because it'd just cap off a wonderful year, and will be talked about for the next 30 years. On the 60th anniversary of the club, they'll be talking about the 30th anniversary year where they went all the way.
And as a sports journo, it makes your back page easy to write next to.
No, they're doing the work for me, the boys.
That's what you're hoping for. You're like, well, that's done. Easy.
Now, must make mention, Matty, of the game time itself. 3:15 at Stockland. This is at the big stadium there. If you're up there, you won't miss it. It's a wonderful facility. So 3:15 p.m. kickoff there for the boys. Get on up there and cheer them along.
As far as facilities go, outside of obviously Suncorp
And Dolphin Oval.
One of the best in southeast Queensland. That's an amazing grandstand. Just a great setup. So get up there and watch your rugby union in comfort.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you what, if there's one player to watch out for, it's the man with the number one on his back, the Jay Forrester. I spoke to Jay during the week, and if you've watched any of them through the year, he's the bloke that you see on the sidelines diving over the try line going, how do you get there that quickly? He is an absolute speed machine, Jay Forrester. Ran a 10.800 metres in high school athletics with Nudgy, and he's primed for a very big final. So keep an eye on Jay. He's my special for first try scorer.
There you go. Get on board. Time for a moon dance. In the lead up.
You know what that means.
Shane Moon. Van Morrison with a moon dance. I shudder to think of what a moon dance, well, a Shane Moon dance would look like. What's going on, Mooney?
Mate, if I get a skinful one night, I'll come around and give you a call.
No, I'm changing my number if that's the case. I'm shuddering thinking about it. But like we said off air, it's taken to round 26, but you've got your own theme song for this segment.
I love it. It's absolutely great. One of my greatest Van Morrison songs. I think Van Morrison's fantastic. And congratulations to the Rah-Rahs. Grand final. Go and kick some of Noosa's derrieres, and let's bring back a trophy to match the league boys after this weekend.
Absolutely, Mooney. Now, of course, for those who don't know, you got over the line on Monday night by a single point. The Melburnians did it for you over the Sharkies. So, unfortunately for David, he only picked the 3, and Mooney, you got the 4. So the roll continues.
Mate, I was getting nervous. I was getting abusive calls from Colonel Patch there at the sports club, mate. He was giving me a hard time, so I had to ring my old mate Craig up and have a chat to Mr. Bellamy and asked a few questions of him. And I had they actually took a phone out to Smithy, and I had a chat with Smithy there about 5 minutes ago, and he was able to get slats over, mate. We did well.
I've seen that. You're a well-connected man. We've seen you Saturday night just offering your advice to Chuck Tomlinson. He seemed rapt to be getting it too. Chuck, he seemed to love having you in his ear. He seemed really rapt about that. But and like we said, next year you were happy to give advice. There might be a new segment, Shane Mooney's coaching tips. So it's in the pipeline. We're talking to sponsors to see if they want to come on to sponsor Mooney's league coaching tips next year. So you heard it here first. Watch out for that one in 2013. But we've got to get these tips out of the way. And Friday night we've got the Knights taking on the Rabbits.
Mate, this is it. This is all over Red Rover. Rabbits to give it to the Knights. Good night, Knights.
Good night, Knights. The Rabbits for Mooney. The Broncos take on the Penny Panthers.
Mate, Broncos, I hear that they actually got Balmain and Newcastle to throw off, so they can, Gold Coast to throw off so they can still be in the top 8. I thought we'd be looking at a 9th spot, but, mate, I think the baby Bronx at home, bring it on home. We'll make the 8 now with a win on Friday night.
Farewell to Petro, that game as well for Suncorp Stadium. The other game, the Saturday night game, the 5:30 game, is the Titans taking on the Eagles.
Oh, mate, I can't go past the Eagles. They're in hot form. They had another blinder on the weekend. They're hitting the purple patch. Dale Cherry Evans, mate, he had a blinder. I thought he was a standout performer there. He did well, and I think look forward to another good game for Dale, and I think Eagles will beat them.
The Eagles. The Tigers take on the Storm.
Good night, Tigers. Off you go, Benji. Go home early for holiday.
Oh, he's scaring the spraying away. Oh, Mooney, watch out. He doesn't mind getting a bit punch-happy. Don't say that to him in a Hungry Jacks or something. Mooney, he'll put one on your nose. The Bulldogs take on the Roosters.
Mate, doggies after last week giving it away. I think they will put one back on just in time for the final series.
Fine form again. The Sharkies take on the Cowboys.
Oh, mate, Sharkies at home too, mate. They're really tough to beat down there, and they need to win to be a chance of being in the top 4. I'm going to stick Sharkies at home down there against the Cowboys, mate.
The Sharkies, the Warriors and the Raiders.
Mate, they didn't get up this week, the Warriors. They got a big smacking, but across the ditch they're a better side, and I think they'll, Raiders don't travel. I think, mate, Warriors over there.
Warriors over there. And then finally, can your Eels send Burton Hindmarsh off a winner against the Dragons?
Absolutely. Easy peasy. See you later, the fireless Dragons.
There you go, the Eels. How many different... Who's he taking on, Melissa?
Melissa from Central Lakes. Maddie is your opponent this week, Mooney. She's a big Jonathan Thurston fan, massive Jonathan Thurston fan, and likes the Cowboys to get over the Sharks, and she thinks the Knights are going to roll the Bunnies in the last round of the season. 2 different this week.
2 different. Well, they go 1 each way. We could have a tie on... give someone a food voucher. They did a voucher for the last
That's it. There you go, Mooney. Anyway, full-time Siren gone. We'll talk to you again. Well, we'll get you on next week, even just for a chat. How do you like that?
Okay, mate. Sounds great to me. And listen, go to Stakey's on up there this weekend, and then again Saturday night again with the other Stakey's, the leagueies, the ones who count.
That's right. Go Snakes all around. Good on you, Mooney.
Cheers, Mooney.
Thanks, guys. All the best.
Full-time Siren's gone, Swampy. Thanks very much. And just reiterate what Mooney said. Good luck to the Caboolture Snakes Rugby Union and Caboolture Snakes Rugby League on Saturday and Saturday night, respectively. Stand by now for the local news.